everyone, welcome back to Function Pilates. I'm Vanessa Kelly, and in today's reformer workout, I'm going to walk you through a beginner to intermediate level type of workout flow. I've been sick with the flu the last couple weeks, so my body hasn't moved around, so I'm easing myself into it. So it's going to be just like a nice type of pace where we're just getting the blood circulating and getting the flow of energy into our bodies. For those that are new, welcome. I have over 35 different apparatus workouts here on the channel. You can see that in the playlist for reformer workouts. And then I also have a 28-day series of if you're a beginner and you need just like some inspiration of getting your workout flows in, you can check out those week 1 through 4 in the playlist. And for those that have been thinking about becoming a Pilates instructor or just enhancing your own Pilates practice, I am a master trainer. Function Pilates has its own teacher training program. There's been a lot of talk about virtual teacher training. That's something that we're going to launch here in the spring. So if you're interested, go to the website, make sure you fill out a contact form so you can get some more information on that virtual teacher training. And for those that have been interested in opening up their own business, Function Pilates is a groundbreaking franchise, and we're registered in over 30 states. So if this is something that you've been thinking about in these coming years to open up your own business, have your own Pilates studio, I would love to chat more about that with you. And for those that are ready to get started, let's just go ahead and begin. Let's go ahead and begin by having a ball handy. We'll use that later. And then we're going to set ourselves up for our footwork. So I have on 3.5 springs, which is 2 reds, a green, and a yellow spring if you are working on a balanced body piece of equipment. Again, think of your footwork as a medium to heavy weight here. And we're going to start with heels on, parallel hip distance apart. Go ahead and take an inhale to prepare and exhale to push out. Arms are beside you, palms are down, and think about pressing through the back of those legs here. We're going to focus on keeping our ankles nice and quiet, as if your feet were pressing against a board. Try to minimize the movement of your ankles here so that we work on strengthening the ankle and also through the knees and through the hips. About 10 repetitions here. And then we're going to shift down to our toes. So make sure all of your toes are connected to the bar. Elevate those heels and take an exhale to press out. Beautiful. So the goal is to keep those ankles tracking really nicely with the knees. So careful to not have the knees pull in together or pull out, but those knees are tracking nicely with your hips as well. Beautiful. After about 10 repetitions, go ahead and bring it in, and we'll go heels together, toes apart. So think of those knees in line with your hips and in line with your shoulders. Exhale to activate those inner thighs as you gently squeeze those inner thighs together, and then separating those knees on your return. Beautiful. Focus on softening through the neck and the shoulders and relaxing through your jaw. Let's bring those heels up nice and wide to the very outside of the bar and have slight turned out position, and exhale to press out. So again, activate the back of those legs as you push firmly and equally through your heels here. Again, think of those ribs connecting as you take that exhale out through the mouth, and as you inhale, focus on those ribs expanding laterally, just to opposite sides of the room here. And then from that wide stance, let's go ahead and bring it down to your toes. Heels are elevated. Take an exhale to push on out. So we're maintaining the integrity of your neutral pelvis and your neutral spine, which is all the natural curves of your spine here. So careful not to overly imprint or overly arch your back here. If you have a tendency to overly arch or you're not feeling your abs connecting, then my recommendation would be to push your low back into the mat to find more of that imprinted position. We're going to move those toes back into the center about hip distance apart and take it into about 15 calf raises. So lowering those heels under, take an exhale to lift those heels up. So the emphasis is the lift on up. Very controlled to lower those heels down, and then articulating through the ankle as you push in through all of your toes to lift the heels gently up. Beautiful job. From here, let's take it into some running. So we're just gonna alternate the legs here as you bend one knee at a time, and about 5 on each side. And then we'll take it to prances. So the difference here is that we're gonna pause in the center to 2 straight legs and then alternate to the opposite leg here to bend. Very nice. Once you've done about 5 more on each side, go ahead and bend those knees and return home. So carefully sit yourself up, and we're going to take it down to single leg work. So I'm going to drop it to 2 reds and 1 blue, which is 2.5 springs, or more of a medium weight if you're working on a different model. Let's line those heels back up hip distance apart, and we're going to keep our right heel on the foot bar and take our left leg to tabletop. So pushing out through that right heel, getting nice and long through the back of the leg, and really focusing on opening up the front of the right hip here. Let's have that left leg very energetic. So it's at a 90-degree angle from the hip and to the knee, and the toes are pointing outward. So it's a very active, again, very energetic tabletop leg here. Halfway in, pulse it for 10. Beautiful. So just feel that isolation there in the quad, right above the knee, as we really strengthen those surrounding knee muscles. And return home. Let's take it to the other side. So right leg in tabletop, exhale, push through that left heel. You got it. So things to think about as we're going through our single leg work is that there's equal pressure in your tailbone, that you're not lifting or rotating a hip in any which way here. So staying very grounded. Palms are flat, energy's running out through those fingertips. In about 10 repetitions, and then on that last one, bring it in halfway, small pulses there. So barely moving that carriage, and on your last one, push out to a straight leg and return home. Let's take our right toes down to that foot bar, and left leg is going to lift. We're gonna flex both feet for a calf raise and then lower that left leg down. So just adding some coordination here. If for some reason it's too much coordination, you can always take that calf raise on both feet out of the equation. But again, really focus on pointing out through that left toe as it lowers over the foot bar. You got it. Focus on your breathing. So you're inhaling through the nose and you're taking the exhale out through the mouth as if you were fogging up a mirror. Very nice. And again, about 10 repetitions, if that feels good for you today. And then we're going to switch it to the other side. So right leg over that foot bar, we're flexing both feet, point the toes, and we lower. So a very controlled movement here. And it's all about the core. So focus on your abdominal muscles actually lifting that leg and lowering the leg, if that makes sense. So we want to take the hip flexors out of this and really allow the abdominal muscles, the low back, that pelvic floor, all to do the work here. Good. Flexing and pointing. Inhale to lower. Exhale to push out. Flex and point. Beautiful. All right, from this position, let's go ahead and sit ourselves right back up again. And we're gonna lower the weight down to 1 red, 1 blue, which is 1.5 springs. And this is gonna be for our supine arm series here. So this is more geared towards your arms. So a really comfortable medium to heavy weight there with the arms. Find tension there, take it to tabletop, and then today I'm gonna cross my ankle. So right ankle over left ankle, and then begin to press those arms down for our tick-tock. So wrists never go past our shoulders, but they come up right above the shoulders as if you were in a sleepwalking position. Beautiful. About 8 repetitions here, and as you exhale, press those arms down, hovering off over the carriage and right beside your hips. Open out to a wide V. Exhale, press those arms down. So the work is coming from our lats. So focus on the muscle group below your armpit, and it's almost like you want to flex or contract that muscle. So as you push your arms down, feel the work there, activate, and you really got to think about it here. So another 8 repetitions. And then we're going to crisscross the ankles the other way, take it to a T. Exhale to pull those palms in to meet the hips. Now, for some reason, you're in tabletop, and this is a little bit too much for your low back. Lift your heels up higher. And then bring your knees in closer to your chest so that you're imprinting through your low back and feeling more of that deeper ab connection. Good, take it to triceps. So bend at the elbow, keep those elbows in next to your body. Press through the back of the arm to straighten out the arms. Now, more importantly, think about neutralizing the wrist here. You have it. And I like working with handles, but if you don't have handles, feel free to use your loops. You may need to take those springs up a little higher. Take it to tabletop, and let's go ahead into our double leg stretch. So exhale, extend the legs, and return those knees back in. So again, another 8 here, just to warm up through the core. Beautiful. And return home. Good. Take a moment. Let's just windshield wipe those legs back and forth. Get a little stretch through the low back, and then we'll take it to our walking arms. So left arm is up, right arm is out to a T. Exhale to pull both arms to the hips and alternate to the other side. So we're playing with our coordination once again. We have, again, a very energetic tabletop with both legs, and if you like those ankles crossed, feel free to do that. I separated them so they're just an item here. Good. Exhale to press, inhale to return up. So we're conditioning those shoulders. We're going to curl our body back up again. Keep that 90-degree angle behind the knee as you tap and lift. So we're really advising more hip disassociation. So this is all about the abs. As you tap those legs down, exhale to return those heavy legs back up again. Beautiful. And lower everything back down. Okay, so hang those up. We're going to do a roll up here. So from here, arms are beside you. We're going to go ahead and drop the heels to flex, arms straight up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale and exhale to peel your spine up 1 vertebra at a time. Pull it in and take a moment to stretch those hamstrings. Good job. So if for some reason you're still working on that, go ahead and practice. You can carefully sit yourself up and take that roll up out of this workout if that feels good for you today. So keeping the springs as is, I'm going to change out my handles to the loops, and we're going to go into some hip work here. So once you've done that, you can lie back down on your back. Headrest can stay in that halfway up position, and then have your ball handy. You're going to place your feet into the loops. And then once you've done that, go ahead and take that ball and let's position it between the ankles. Perfect. So from here, legs straight up towards the ceiling, we're going to take an exhale and lower those legs down to 45. Inhale to return up. So again, sometimes I like to take my hands back down to my midsection here, to the lower abdominals, to really feel the activation, the connection, really encourage myself to maintain neutral pelvis here. So if that helps you, feel free to keep your hands there. Otherwise, they're resting beside you. Good. Super controlled to lower to 45, and then bend those knees in and exhale to push out. So they are still parallel, so really try to enforce parallel positioning with your knees and your ankles. You're going to feel your inner thighs working, and this is all about strengthening through our hips here. Good. Think about pushing energetically out from your heels. Let's combine it. So bend those knees in, exhale to push out to straight legs, float them up, bend the knees, and find a rhythm here. Find this flow where you can easily feel those inner thighs starting to heat up. Perfect. And once you've done anywhere from 5 to 8, we can go ahead and reverse the direction. So bend the knees in, lift the legs up, exhale to press down. And you'll notice the change here as you press down, that's where the inner thigh start to heat up and you're gonna build that deeper connection. Perfect. Relax through that jaw once again and think of the back of your neck very long. Good. Lowering down to 45, bend the knees. And then we're going to hold 45. We're going to take it to hundreds here, guys. So extend those arms. Lift your head and chest if that feels good for you. Pump those arms rapidly. Inhaling for 5 counts. Exhale for 5 counts. So modifications here. You can keep your head down or you can come into tabletop position. You can do both. But think of those arms pumping and your triceps activating. You're getting your lats involved. Your abs are pulling in. So think belly button to spine. Beautiful job. Once you've hit your hundreds, or maybe you're doing 50s, lower your head down and relax. Let's take that ball, set it to the side, and we'll finish it with our circles. So lower down, separate the legs, and sweep them around. Exhale. Long inhale to circle. So feel the mobility around the hip socket here as we create fluid. We're stretching out those hip sockets and we're strengthening through those inner thighs. Excellent. Let's reverse. Exhale to squeeze those inner thighs back together. Open wide and pull in. Think of those legs gravitating towards one another and inhale, float up. Still keeping your tailbone anchored into the mat here. It makes all the difference. And then take a moment to stretch into that little Buddha position. And then when you're ready, let's take our loops out. Find your foot bar 1 foot at a time. And we'll take it to another roll up if that feels good. So drop those heels under, stretch those arms, peel that spine all the way up, and return home. Okay, so I'm gonna drop the springs to 1 red spring or just 1 light spring here, a light to medium for our semicircle. We're gonna focus on articulation through the spine. So toes are on, otherwise you can have your heels on that foot bar. Arms are long, hold on to the shoulder blocks and peel your spine up into a bridge. Gently push out to straight legs, then articulate to lower your hips down into the well and bend the knees. Beautiful. So feel those hamstrings working, stay in parallel, focus on the extension of the spine, sweep your tailbone across the spring here. You got it. Let's try that one more time. So we're doing about 3 each way. Good. Bridge it up. Feel those glutes. Hold. Now, as we reverse, we're lowering down. Tap the spring. Breeze across it. Bridge your body up. Keep those hips elevated to bend the knees in. Good. So the goal is to really keep pushing those hands into the shoulder blocks so that your arms are straight. Obviously, if you have a shoulder injury, this is not going to be the best exercise for you. Last time, press on out and return yourself back in carefully, and then slowly just slide your body up, which is the easier part here. And then we're going to come up to a seated position. So headrest is going to go down. I'm not going to mess around with the springs, so that's going to stay as is, and we'll do a little chest expansion. So sitting tall, legs through that headrest. Hold on to the loops. Take an inhale to prepare and exhale to press back. Now, if you're having a hard time sitting up tall, bend your knees. Again, it's not about how straight your legs can get. It's about how tall your spine can get. So feel those low back muscles here really working as a team with your abdominal muscles. Good. And if it feels uncomfortable, that's okay. Then you know you're actually really strengthening those muscles in your low back. Okay, so take it to rowing. Pull those arms into your chest. Hold and open out to a T. Exhale, bring your nose to your knees. Bring those arms behind you, circle them around, and restack the spine. Inhale to pull the hands in. Exhale to articulate. Inhale to hold and open those arms to a T. Exhale, nose dive it to the knees, squeeze behind you, circle those arms around. One more time, guys. Let's pull it in. Exhale, scoop, articulate, lower back. Inhale to hold as you open to a T. Dive it forward, nose to knees, squeeze your arms behind you, circle those arms around, and restack your spine. Good. Bicep curl. So as if your elbows are resting on top of a table here, they're going to stay in the same place as you co-contract. Think bicep, think tricep here. So you should feel that heat work. Beautiful. Exhale. Palm is open, not overly gripping. Looking straight ahead and keeping your neck nice and long with your spine. Drop one down and then hold on to that right rope with your left hand, and let's add rotation. So it's our bow and arrow. One thing to think about here, guys, is what's going on with your feet. Do you find yourself moving your legs as you rotate? I challenge you to keep your pelvis quiet and your feet quiet. So there's no shifting here. And you're gonna feel the rotation and the obliques work so much harder. Beautiful. About 8 on one side, and then we're gonna switch it to the other side. So right hand is holding on to that left strap. Take an exhale and rotate. Good, so tighten up through your obliques, tighten up through your belly button into your spine, and allow your body to grow taller. Good, and this is a different side, so double check again if those feet are lifting or shifting, if your hips are moving. We want to really stabilize everything. And then just go ahead and set that back down. Perfect. Okay, so from here, we're gonna drop it down, that foot bar, and the weight's gonna go super light. So I have on a yellow spring, which is my lightest spring possible, and we're gonna do some full body exercises here. So carefully place your feet against the edge of the reformer. Hands are gonna be on the carriage. We're gonna press out to plank. So this is a lot of your own body weight here, guys. Let's pike it up. Use your exhale. Let's try that 2 more times. To pike up, tailbone lifts to the sky. Inhale back to plank. And step that left foot forward. Let's reach it up as if we were in a yoga position, and then push that carriage forward and back for 3. We're gonna bring those hands down to the mat, step it into plank, and you're gonna go ahead into your tricep, into Cobra and Downward Dog. So just a small variation if you're familiar with yoga. We'll do a little bit of pike to plank. And then we're gonna go ahead and step that right foot forward. We're gonna lift our arms up to frame our ears, sitting up a little taller, pushing that carriage forward and back. So you're gonna feel tons of hamstring here. Nice. And on that third one, drop those palms down to the mat, go back to plank, go and carefully bend your elbows, lift your chest, shine your heart up, lift your tailbone back, and return. Back to a plank. We're gonna float that right foot up, tap it down. Float that left foot, tap it down, and then let's pike. Let's try it again. Back to plank, float that right foot up. Float that left foot up, and back to a pike position. Beautiful job. Last time. So feel that hip extension, the glute and the hamstring here working. Hold and pike. Back to plank. One more time. Bend those elbows, lift that chest. Beautiful job here, guys. And then send your carriage all the way back home. Carefully drop those knees down and step off to the side. Awesome. So let's go ahead and add a red spring or a medium spring. So I have basically about 1.25 on right now for our Swan Prep. So again, finding a comfortable weight to do your back extension. Separate your legs here, point your toes, energize your legs. As you push to straight arms, begin to inhale and lift your chest up. Exhale to lower down and soften the elbows. A big inhale to roll those shoulders back, extend the spine. And then exhale to return home. Press, lift that chest, lower it down, and bend. Beautiful. So I'm going to do about 5 of these here. Think about squeezing your glutes if for some reason you're getting a little bit into your low back, which you shouldn't. It should feel really nice. And then we're going to finish it with 5 more, just bend and straightened with our arms here. Beautiful. And then return all the way in. Awesome job here, guys. Step off carefully and we'll finish it with our roll down. So hip distance apart. Take an inhale. We're going to float those arms up overhead. Take a dive all the way, fingertips to the floor. Exhale to slowly restack your spine up 1 vertebra at a time. Shoulder roll back to stand tall. 1 more time. Thanks again, guys, so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this workout. If you did, hit a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you're not yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you next time.